This movie was definitely something else on rewatch. I really liked it when I first watched it. I deleted the review because I thought it was too short and didn't talk enough about the movie. So I just got to rewatching it. Of course, one of the major complaints, the Birds of Prey isn't the Birds of Prey. Half the fucking people aren't from the Birds of Prey in the comics. There isn't that much Joker, was a complaint for some reason, even though nobody liked Leto's Joker. Most people didn't anyway. Um, I thought it was stupid that they only hinted at Harley Quinn being bi. That is, like, a pretty decent part of her character, and they only mention it once in the very fucking beginning of the movie. Like, she's like, I've had my heart broken once or twice, and it's like this animation part. Just for whatever reason, like, the first 2 minutes of the movie are like an animated sequence. And during that, they show like three different people that have broke her heart, and the last one is a woman. Just a random woman, just like the first two were random men. Um, they deal with sexism and shit like that, and I think they do mostly really good. Besides the fact that they throw the label on like anybody and everybody. Like Roman and Victor Zaz are clearly sexist assholes, but why the fuck does she think a random dude that says, I'm gonna kill you, Harley, and throws something at her window is sexist? Like, she just labels everyone as sexist that she sees. Yet her herself says in the movie that people hate her because how many people she's wronged, because how she's immune because of the Joker. How she thought she could do whatever she wanted, so she fucked with everybody. Yet anytime a man shows up, she's like, well, he probably hates me because I don't have a dick. That is like a literal one. They show this one dude and they say grievance, and then they put the eggplant emoji and have like a cross over it. I don't know why she just assumed every single one of them was sexist. It was weird. They're just bad guys trying to kill people because they're, well, bad. Black Canary was pretty good, but she only does her scream once, and it's like close to the end of the movie. Victor Zaz really did show, Victor Zaz shit maybe once or twice when he's peeling the faces off the people near the beginning of the movie, and it even creeps out even creeps out Black Mask. Speaking of Black Mask, once again, for some reason, his live action interpretation, don't think I pronounced that right, um, doesn't have the mask sealed to his face, which is something that is happening in the comics. His black mask is stuck to his face, so it's basically his face. He can't take it off. But yeah, he puts it on for like the final act of the movie or whatever, and it gets knocked off during the car scene. And that's really it for his black mask. So it really isn't there for that long. Um, they did the same shit in the Batwoman show where he didn't have the black mask on. He could just take it off and on. I guess it kind of fits a movie because you want to see their facial expressions, see their acting. But I've always found that so dumb. Anyways, yeah, he gets killed too. Unlike Batwoman, which at least Batwoman gave him kind of his weird origin story, and his mask does get ultimately sealed to his face in the end in the Batwoman show. But in this, he just gets killed by a child, which I guess is cool and all. Um, Renee Matona was pretty fucking boring. I thought she was better in Gotham, and really all they did with her in Gotham was have her sleep with Barbara. She really didn't do much in Gotham, but in this, she's just, a cop stereotype, and they point that out, which is something they do a lot in this movie. They be more meta, which at times is pretty funny, but most of the time it doesn't land. I think this movie's kind of corny and cheesy at times. I didn't have a problem with the sexism shit that they were trying to, um, go for. I just don't think they went for it the right way. It did piss off a lot of weak-willed men who thought, oh no, sexism, that makes this movie bad. We can't show that in movies. I just found it weird how they did it with everybody. Like, do we really need random character 3 to be a sexist that shows up for 2 seconds? How about you try and do it with the actual characters that matter so we actually get a payoff when they get their ass kicked? Of course, Black Canary betrays Black Mask, and that leads up to the final act of the movie. So it somewhat makes her more important, but then they try and act like it was like the little girl, who, yes, I guess he was kind of after her, but Victor Zsasz was like, hey, Black Canary betrayed you, and that's what gets him to put on the black mask and go do stuff himself, is because of Black Canary. But the little girl was like, oh, they're all here for me. Well, I guess you would think that, but not really. Huntress was kind of lame in this movie. She was decent in Batman Brave and the Bold, from what I remember from that show. And she's a pretty badass in the comics, but here she just has the fucking boring revenge arc thing. And she gets, like, saved by a henchman that realized she wasn't dead. Which they never say that she killed him. I think she should have, though, even though he did save her life. Because he was a part of the shooting that killed her parents, and that's what she wanted revenge from. Sure, he decided to have a heart and not kill her, so she never would have gotten revenge if he didn't do that. But at the same time, he was literally a part of the shooting. He was there. He let it happen. But whatever. I think he should have been killed. But at the end, they randomly reveal Huntress killed Victor's ass because he was also a part of the shooting, because they conveniently left him out so it could be a weird, dumb twist that literally doesn't matter. I thought Victor Zsasz was decent. He was at least closer to his comic book character. He even has a line about how he likes to free people from this world, which is Victor Zsasz like. Thinking back about it on Gotham, even though I think the actor did a really good job and he's very entertaining in the role, it wasn't a Victor Zsasz performance. He did not have the creepiness of Victor Zsasz at all. But he was a really good actor, and he was a pretty good character in the show, and it does kind of fit Gotham because they did change a lot of characters. Instead of getting Bud and Lou, we get Butch the Hyena. Don't know why they changed that, but they did. Like, instead of her having 2 hyenas, she has 1, and it's called Butch. And how she gets it is from a creepy man instead of how I think she got it from stealing it from the zoo in the comics. Though they've changed it a few times. I don't know exactly the canon one. But yeah, she gets the hyena from a creepy dude that she kills. He says he'll take payment anyway, and then it's clearly, him trying to get Harley to sleep with him. Which they state throughout the movie that most people won't mess with Harley because that she's the Joker's girlfriend, but there's like several times where people do. So why even establish that she's basically immune to anybody, even the cops, if there's still going to be people like that? Because he's clearly messing with her. Nobody will mess with her because she's the Joker girl and she's trying to get out of his shadow. She wants to be feared herself. She states that later in the movie, that I shouldn't be feared because of the Joker or because of Black Mask. I should be feared because I'm Harley fucking Quinn. But, like, there's like several people that fuck with her throughout the movie before people realize that she's broken up with the Joker, like that dude. I mean, sure. Um, like the dude doesn't get revenge. Like, we later find out that creepy dude had a brother. And he waits until they find out that you know, Harley's no longer with Joker. Because of course a guy will sexually harass Harley Quinn when she's clearly with Joker, but his brother won't avenge his fucking brother that got killed by Harley until she breaks up with Joker. That makes sense. Like, it's so weird. I don't understand it. And of course, they didn't hire Jared Leto, so every time Joker appears, it is an animation, or we only see him from behind, because they're just clearly doing a body double. Honestly, it was a pretty entertaining movie. It just does have a lot of flaws, and a lot of the jokes are corny and cheesy. And sometimes they wait way too long to do their jokes. Like, near the beginning of the movie, Harley loses her sandwich because of Renee. She bumps into Renee later after that happened, and they don't make a joke about it. She tries to arrest Harley, and she's like, "You again?" And she's like, drop what's in your hands." And she's like, "This phone." And then she kicks the phone at her. And then they wait until the movie's basically fucking over for her to acknowledge the fact that Renee made her lose her sandwich. She's like, "You killed my sandwich." And then she kicks her out the window. Like, why didn't she say that the first time she bumped into her again? Or literally when it happened? They also have a weird looking beaver for whatever reason. Stuffed beaver that Harley talks to like a few times. They also have a Captain Boomerang reference, which was cool. We all know what happened with Captain Boomerang. We all know what happened with Birds of Prey. Nothing really has happened with that so far. James Gunn is supposedly, rebooting the DCU, so I doubt the Birds of Prey is going to go anywhere anyway. So it looks like this is just going to be a one-off movie. Maybe they'll keep Margot Robbie because she's a big name, and a lot of people love her as Harley Quinn. I think she's decent. I think there's better versions of Harley Quinn, though. Tara Strong does a really good version of Harley Quinn. And others do, too.